howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back despite many technical difficulties. This, uh, this is getting hard to do with spiritual attacks just destroying my show. I had everything all set up, ready to go, ready to hit play, and they just wipe it all out and pull the plug. So bear with me as I try to regain composure and regain a show at the same time while running late. So bear with me for just a second here. I can only pull up a couple instruments at a time since this is being so picky. But we'll get to it just a second here. Thank you for a moment of your precious time while we get this ball rolling here. Okay, here we go. So, as you can see, September 10th, 2024, 7-year anniversary. I should have titled it that, but hard to get this all together and then to have it all wiped away and have to all set it up and wipe it away and set it up. Running late is very frustrating for me. I'm a very punctual person. I like to be ahead of time, not behind the 8 ball. All right, so sorry as I bent there. Thank you for taking a moment of your precious time to be part of this precious family, okay? As we're going to get started here, bear with me as we kind of get in here. September 10th, all right, 7 years ago, all this stuff started happening to me, and this is like big day for me, 7-year anniversary. I wasn't sure if I was going to be alive for this show, to tell you the truth. But as we continue on, let me just catch the opening frame. And we'll do the best to recover this show. Okay, here we go. You can see our spire region already down here growing, and this little faded event kind of hiding out in here. Meanwhile, you can see our CME just about to bust off the limb right there. Okay, over here you can see our little dark object. See it corresponding up there too. Puts a dent in the readings right there. Okay. Let's continue on. Okay, you can see what's. Whoa, maybe you can't. Let's go more like that. And are we too dark or something? There we go. Brighten it up a little bit there. Yeah, thank you for relating there because sometimes it's a little struggle here. Anyways, let's try to do the best to maintain my composure. You can see, oh, you can't. Why is it not showing up here? All right. You can see our little object. Here's the ghost image back here, the shadow. All right. We're just going to have to do this. I don't get why my camera not picking it up too well tonight. But there we go. Now you can see what I mean. All right. Main object right here, the little ghost image or the shadow or whatever back behind here. Okay, so you clearly see there's an object there. Okay, now let's continue on here. Let me scooch so I can get as much of the frame in for you and still grab some of this button down below. All right, so there goes that event. Now for our event down below here. Crackling, sparkling. Starting to see it yet? Oh, I forgot this was going to be another one of my thumbnails. Watch this, you guys. All right, you can clearly see our little object right here. It's got a little magnetic field around it. You can see that pulling plasma off. There's a second one right here. And if you look into that eye, watch the pupil grow. You see that? So let's just zoom in on that, shall we? Yeah, nothing going on right there. No black round object or anything like that. There's another one over here. Looks like this little crazy face with an eye here and an eye over there. kind of looking down. You can see the teardrop effect, giving it those eyes effect here. Let's do this really quick. You're going to see some strange stuff here at this show for people that are just arriving here. This is not your normal YouTube live stream, okay? This is something much different. Okay, there's an eye. There's another eye over on the other side, kind of black objects moving by. Okay, let me pull back now. Oops, too far. Okay, we're going to back up just a tad bit and look at that event over on the red side here as well. Okay, I want you to note the spire and all the plasma that's coming off, latching on to these objects right here. And then as we proceed through here, look how that whole spire region just disappears. Huh. And you can see, whoops. You can see our teardrop tail tapering back, stretching out plasma, spaghettification effect until it kind of snaps loose. Some other little moons or satellites passing through there. All right. Fun ride, huh? Let's hit start and let it play over again. Okay, note how at the very beginning we got a good spire region right here, and I told you it points to an inbound object. So a couple of objects here, whatever else was trailing with them, and now it's all gone. Okay. It just took all that plasma with it, too. And if that one happens to be coming our direction, well, it's going to bring energy our way, right? Okay, so there's that for right now. Let's come on over to Solar Ham here. Your solar flux indice is at 205 and dropping 10 more points. We're almost out of the red. We're at 205. If we drop below 200, that'd be good. Sunspot number count down to the green. We dropped 66 sunspots. I wonder why. Could it be that big old plasma tear-off thing that we just saw right there, and all those sunspots just died because of that event? These sunspots are caused by these magnetic fields interfacing with the magnetic fields of the other objects. Sun's magnetic field and the object's magnetic field. When they roil together, they cause disruptions in the corona. The corona of the sun. Let me talk about the corona of the sun here a little bit. Much like the magnetic field is generated here on our planet by the rotating of the core inside of a shell, okay, the sun has the same same dynamo inside of it, okay, but on a much grander scale, much bigger, okay. So when the core of the sun spins inside of its shell, the electromagnetic field that it produces, just like our planet does, is so strong that it produces light. Okay, the corona of the sun is the sun's magnetic field. Just so strong it emits light, okay? It's on such a big scale that it takes magnetism and turns it into light. Okay, and that's what's going on. These little roiling sunspots right here are disruptions in the corona of the sun. We're having discharges because of those planets or those objects interfacing, interacting, and then once it leaves the area, the sunspots die down and disappear. So, whoops. While we're in there, let me just go ahead and zoom back out. There's not much to see right now, right there. I just kind of showed it to you. Let's scooch on over, slide on down, and see how fluxed we are. Solar fluxed, that is. The GOES X-ray solar flux for today. And here's my opportunity to fix the wavy lines while you guys check out our little map for today there. You can see we had our little data drop out, but you can see we started off today with this event. We looked at that last night. Okay, a little bit of data missing, but it'd just be a smooth line across there, eclipsing the satellite. Okay, boom, our main event right there, tapering off, and then going into next day, another day to drop up. We have this little hump and a spike right there. I don't think we're going to be able to see that because they weren't updating data very well. Oh, well, looky there. There's tomorrow's data. Do you guys want to see that? I'll even refresh it. You don't? You don't want to take a peek into the future right here? A 9/11? Well, tough. We're going to do it anyway. All right. Whew. Thank God there's no big old explosions to see. All right. Not much to look at. We still have this spire region and that spire region and a little activity here and there. So still stuff to watch out for in the future coming up here. Even these dark regions, okay, emit some of these objects are absorbing light, leaving a dark patch. Also, okay, both effects, all right? Yeah, of course you want to see it. Yeah. That's why I tease you guys a little bit. Just something I do to keep you guys smiling there. All right. You don't want to see that? Because sometimes when we go look, it's something terrible and we wish we hadn't looked. I go, oh, maybe we shouldn't have seen that. All right. Let's zoom on back and get continued here. All right. So September 11th, G1. Now, today was predicted a G2 and it did not occur. Okay, so it might be running late. Maybe we dodged a bullet. You know, I was out there praying the other night, thinking of that shield that we saw come off the sun. You remember the shield not too long ago with the solar blast hitting it and painting the outside of the shield, and it was blocking the CME. It was blocking the explosion, just like a dragon spitting fire at a knight's shield. It was blocking the flames. And I thought about that, and I thought, you know what? What if that thing showed up and kind of blocked something? And we may have gotten lucky. We'll see. But meantime, we did not have a G2, thankfully. Okay, I'm glad to be wrong when there's no geomagnetic storm. Okay. So we did not have one yet, but September 11th, they're still calling for G1. Now keep that in mind. If we haven't had our G2 yet and they're calling for this tomorrow, we might see a stronger impact. All right. We'll see how it might even be happening right now during the show. Proton event 50%, but they're not showing anything. Okay. Meanwhile, X flare potential 15%. I want to come on down here. Our 3.4 M flare right there. Nothing too big. Okay. Everything's pretty, it's unsettled, but it's not too strong right now. Our strongest KP was just below 3 right here. So we still haven't hit this geomagnetic storm. Okay. Maybe it went south. Maybe it split up. Whatever happened. If we don't get an impact, I am thankful. Okay. We do not need to be absorbing any more energy from the sun. The planet is way past the point of absorption, and we're emitting gamma rays, all right? The planet's almost having CMEs like the sun does. It's emitting gamma rays. We're having volcanic blasts, earthquakes, lightning coming out of the top of volcanoes. Not an eruption, lightning shooting out of the top of them. Okay, we'll get into that here in a little bit too. Whew. Meanwhile, the one I'm concerned about is 3814, the beta gamma delta, and growing. So, 3814. I want to go back and take a peek at that really quick here. Bear with me. Oh, this one, center disk. Okay, got an intense polarity here, at least for the negative side here. Blue. There's hardly any red right here. There's a tiny little patch right in between them right there, but I don't think we're going to... It's got the delta configuration. We have to watch it, but it may have kind of tapered out. I don't see, very strong other, matching polarity. So hopefully that'll stay that way, and we'll dodge a bullet there as well. Whoops, I didn't go back enough. 110. There we go. All right. Also, keep in mind, September 12th, another G1 storm expected, and then September 13th, G2 expected. All right. So we'll kind of go through these our own. I'm not necessarily going to rely on theirs. We're going to go back and look later on at what came off the sun 3 days before on the 11th. I like to stick with that 3-day rule. It seems to be a theme that God likes to stick with is 3 days. So I just kind of stick with that, and it kind of works. You can see some events are going way faster. Those you can say, okay, maybe 2 days or something, but most stuff takes about 3 days to get here. All right, let's get into this article really quick. A bit of a change to the latest geomagnetic forecast. Currently, a minor G1 geomagnetic storming is expected on September 11th and the 12th due to possible CME effects. The increase to moderate G2 storming is in the forecast for September 13th, Friday the 13th, and this would be the result of the CME observed very early Tuesday morning following an eruption around 3814. Okay, we already had an eruption from 3814, so it's probably kind of done. All right. A few minor solar wind enhancements on Tuesday when looking at the data. Perhaps one of these is related to the September 8th CME passing close to Earth. Okay. That's the 3 day rule, 8th, and today's going to be the 11th. So we'll see. A further update will be provided whenever necessary. Okay, and here they're even showing you their own geomagnetic forecast again, right there, that same little box. Now let's do some tracking since we're crack-a-lacking, since we're lacking the tracking. Yeah, nothing to see there. Yeah. That's probably our G2 coming in 3 days here. All right. So we're going to take a good one right on the chin right there. Bingo. Not missing north south either. Let me just kind of zoom one more dimension back so we can kind of go like this. All right. There you go. Take a good peek real quick there. Whew. Thank you guys. You're helping me recover already. I'm feeling better just by a few little smiles in the chat room and some friendly faces. All right, so another impact coming. Everybody brace for impact. And you know that these geomagnetic storms can enhance our weather. Okay, so let me get back out of this. Back out of that. You can come over and look at this little graph and stuff. I really don't rely too much on this, but it's entertaining. You can look at it. Also, really quick here, this article, an eruption very early Tuesday morning around 3814 and 3822 produced a partial halo CME that appears to be heading mostly to the north. However, an Earth-directed component may still be possible, and if so, a passage past Earth could be expected within 48 to 72 hours. Nope. All right, hold on. Here we go. So I think that's the one they're talking about. A reminder that the moderate G2 storm watch is in effect for the next 24 hours due to the possible incoming CME from September 8th. All right, the one that's kind of running late. If it left September 8th, it would be here the 11th. They're rushing it. They said 2 days, and it usually takes 3. Okay, so watch out here on September 11th. We might see our impact. Long duration, M1.2 on today, 9:10 right there. Look at that sucker. That'd definitely be heading our way. 3814. Okay. All right, I think we finished up there. Let's come on over to spaceweather.com real quick. The geomagnetic storm watch is extended, not canceled, but extended. Geomagnetic storms are possible for the next 3 days, especially on September 13th, Friday the 13th, when a full halo CME is expected to strike Earth head on. So NOAA predicts a chance of a G1 storms on September 11th and 12th, followed by a G2 storm on the 13th. The CME impact alert CMS text. Okay, astronauts will spacewalk without an airlock. What, are they trying to kill them? Never mind, I'm just joking. SpaceX's Polestar mission took flight. Oh boy, you can come over here and read this article. Astronauts will spacewalk without an airlock. I wasn't sure it was going to launch. Are you sure you should spacewalk without an air launch? All right, let me move on. I'm sorry. We got to keep going. I have to close out instruments and reopen other stuff. So let's just kind of get to that here. Um, really quick, the Schumann, I'm going to show you that it hasn't been updating lately. Okay. This is the Russian site that I like to use because they got a little different display here. The other Schumann charts kind of missing data as well. Okay, so since the what 7th, yeah, it's been the same readings here. That's what we left off at. Now, if you guys are being aware of what's going on here and how you can kind of feel it in your body and in your bones, I bet you've noticed it. Maybe that's why they're not showing it. We've probably got some good spikes going right now, okay? Or, during the course of the day. These are roller coaster type effects where it makes your mood swing. This is grinding down at the core shell, creating, a higher intense of these frequencies. All right. These are low frequencies, but they're intense. All I'm concerned about is the 7.83, the green line, and seeing just a solid green line with continuity. None of this stuff. All right. This causes irritation, confusion, aggravation, all kinds of different mood swings. All right. And this is going on in the background, and there's nothing you can do about it except roll with the punches. All right. That's why it's important you do the spiritual report at the end here, too. All right. Sorry, there's no updated data there, but I just had to kind of show you no updated data because of, well, probably what's going on. Okay, moving on. Let me get null school opened up here. Yeah, it would have been a nightmare trying to do all this and have it jam up again, and I would just still be waiting to go live. All right. Our main concern right now, our storm moving in right here, okay? You can see that it's getting well organized. We have geomagnetic storming coming in, which enhances nucleation, okay? That's where your particles stick to the water vapor, all right? So not only are we going to see enhancement of this storm if the G2 or any kind of geomagnetic energy hits us from this moment on, is going to do any kind of enhancement to this, okay? I want to talk also, we got vortexes starting to go all over the place, up here, over here, over here. We're starting to get deeper and deeper into summer here and almost into fall, where we get into transition season. And all this stuff we'll see what happens there. But look at this little eye and this little eye right here coming together. There's another typhoon right here forming, okay, as if they didn't already get walloped enough. Did you see the thumbnail? Oh boy, we got something to talk about there. Oh my. So here's our vortex. It's over India. Like I said, it keeps taking stuff up into this country, throwing it up against the Himalayas, and then recycling it in that area. All right, so what I want to do now, just kind of looking around. All right, let's get the sandstorm report done. Look at this stuff going on out here. All right, let me pull up the particulates. Whoops. DUEX, dust extinction aerosol. What a awesome terminology, huh? Extinction aerosol. All right, meanwhile, not extinction, it's sand, and it's coming off in this big punch with this big fist right here and a forearm coming out. All right, so we're getting a big old extension of this good solid sand again. See, I like to see white here because that shows intensity. Let me pull up your chart. See, white here at the very end shows very intense, just in case you guys didn't know. All right, and coming out like a big old fist, just about to punch all the way across here and put a new layer of sand through here, kind of quelling the storms. Meanwhile, you see these ones out here that are trying to sneak in there really quick before this comes and blocks everything. We've probably had a new little different rotation of air here as well. So, everybody take a deep breath. Fair warning, you might see something that might be a little disturbing. But we're just going to come on over here anyway and take a little look at the sand over here, Saudi Arabia, Iran area. Very, it's getting covered up. Up here, very intense at the Gobi Desert in that eye. And over here at the Caspian Sea in this eye. And they're in big trouble. I think you can see it in the weather that's going on over there. You see the big ram horn coming back around like that. And you're not hallucinating. There's spiritual events going on. Okay. That's, you might think it's pareidolia or whatever, but wait until I tell you how my camera picked up the image for the thumbnail. It identified that as a face. Yeah, when I put it up to the screen, it would like put a box around the face. You know, your camera would put a box around faces and nothing else but a face. Yeah, it identified that as a face. So I guess my phone has pareidolia too. All right, so I gotta laugh because it's just getting ridiculous without excuse anymore. All right, but anyways, you can see good thrust of sand coming off here. Thankfully, we just got to hold on while these last little things kind of make it through there. Hopefully, this will continue following our conveyor belt structure. All right, now let's actually, you know what? We can put on the wind really quick. I want to see what direction. Okay. We got a good solid band of flow coming through this area. It'll probably kind of hit this little area and split up. Some will go along the inside conveyor belt. We have a little rotation, anti-rotation coming down the coast. So it might come up and stop right there and get blown into the country, kind of like it's doing right now. But I want to see some of that come through the Caribbean here, through this lower trough to wind and get up in there in the Gulf and keep this stuff from happening. All right, this one, I told you, I warned you earlier, the water in this area is so hot that we don't need to see Hurricane Genesis way out here, even though it's blocking a lot of it. The water's so hot here, we could see just a tad bit of rotation and it'll fire right up. And that's what's happening. Okay. Add your objects passing, add your, oh boy, we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so very, very dangerous storm to watch, and we'll just kind of go there when we get there. All right, so there's your sandstorm report. Okay. If you want to come over here, take a peek at that face some more, you can, but I got to see that ugly sucker every day, so I don't need to look at it. All right. Let me take off the winds and do our SO2 report. Okay. Now, here we go. We're coming in for a landing. The country divided, huh? Especially after tonight's debate. Wow, what a show that was, huh? Pouring out, just bleeding out on one side, except for some flooding down in this region already. But the other side, porous volcanic material with perforations. There's your country divided. Every time, too, huh? Especially with debates like that, boy, that drove a wedge into everybody, didn't it? We'll talk about that tonight, too, if you want. I'm not a very political guy. I love a good debate. And, well, let's just say, for those with eyes that see, we'll get there. Okay, we're going to do our SO2 and fire report. Okay, this is getting out of hand now. Way up here in Canada, it started up here last season with their fires, their SO2 plumes and their crazy, outrageous fires in Canada. It started again this season up here. This time, it's crept into the lower 48, and it's doing more activity down here than it is up in Canada. All right, I need you guys to take a long, hard look at what's going on here in Oregon, Idaho, over into Wyoming. Okay, this SO2 is very intense. These plumes come out of the ground so hot. Remember, this gas that surrounds the magma. It's hotter than the magma. It is vaporized magma, basically. All right, sulfur dioxide coming out of the ground so hot that it starts fires. It sets the surrounding bushes, trees, any kind of thing close by will spontaneously combust from the heat. All right, hang on for a second. I gotta get a new drink. All that talking. Bear with me a second here. Oh, grabbing my son's drink. That one? All right, fine. So, yeah, just taking a look at that. It's very disturbing. Okay. Now, what we need to really talk about is the fires going on down here now. Okay, everybody's concerned about these fires going on down in LA, and I'm going to tell you exactly what caused them. No, I'm not. I'm going to let the images say 1,000 words. I told you the last few nights that this activity was creeping further south. We got activity up by where I'm at right now. I'm watching a volcanic plume coming out, and everybody's saying it's a fire. Yep. Well, there's a fire too, but meanwhile, here in this area is a new one. And then look at what just popped out down in Southern Cal. Remember this area right here I was showing you where the pressure was building up and the heat was? Well, guess what? No surprise. They're actually lucky it's coming out this way, and instead of the form of a 9 or a 10, you know what I'm saying? So our activity has definitely traveled south, even activity in Mexico here. It's traveling eastward too. Okay. I've been watching carefully for any activity east of this line. And that's still not countable because there's factories and stuff in that area. You can see the difference, okay? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, there's a bunch of fire right here from it. No. Look at it. Look at it. Okay, it's a hard truth to swallow, but it's important that you guys understand these fires are popping up now because of the SO2 perforations in the crust, okay? Pressure's looking for the pathway of least resistance. We have this big old bulge of pressure out here that we didn't see any earthquakes really to relieve it. We did see relief in the area because the pressure pushed under the plate now and is popping up through the volcanic system. Everybody watch out for volcanoes about to go off in this region. I mean, they're already going off. They're just not blasting huge towers of ash yet, but they're active. Thank you, God. Give them strength, Lord. Give them endurance. Let me take the fires off now because you can only look at it so long. All right, let's continue on. We look down. Mexico's having their SO2 emissions too. Okay, there's perforations in their land too. Cuba, of course, it's all purple. Jamaica, you know what they're smoking. Okay, it's not SO2, but they got a lot of SO2 emissions there too. Okay, this island chain. Here, let me just show you the island chain. Take that off there, please. You can see all the little islands with their corresponding plumes, but let me just take off the islands for a second. Yeah. Every single island has an SO2 plume, all right? And you come around this corner and you see it just continuing right through South America, all through northern part of South America, all the way down through here, okay? You can see these are all individual sites, okay? There's not like one plume blown, one, blowing it all up the coast. These are all individual sites. This used to be packed full of little purple dots, and now there are very few of them in this region because we had a big quake here and a big series of aftershocks or quakes form here, and a lot of stuff settled and plugged up the little pathways, relieved pressure right in that little zone right there, leaving it kind of naked. Meanwhile, right next door to it is our fulcrum point that's pumping out nice and strong. This one up here's kind of hanging out. This one's not so strong. All right, all 5 of them are there still. Main one being our fulcrum point. We come on down just to kind of take a peek. Very intense along the coastline here. You can see it all blowing out into the Pacific here, okay? But this relieves pressure along this plate boundary system and fulcrum point, keeping the magnitudes, the quake magnitudes down. It relieves pressure, okay? Almost like a slow leak in your bicycle tube. You can't pump it up hard enough to make the tube pop because it'll keep relieving pressure. You got a bunch of little pinholes in it, right? Okay, as we come on over, take a peek at Hawaii, make sure my darling over here is okay. All right, getting pretty intense coming out of the crater here at Oahu, so you might want to get a mask, darling. But otherwise, over here, the other islands starting, they're doing their thing. And what I see here is a little bit coming out of this island now. Huh? Yeah? Maybe something coming out of water. All right, well, indication of pressure down below there. You got to remember, this is the hub of the Pacific Rim. If it were a bicycle rim, it would be the hub where all the spokes meet. Okay, now coming on over to this region, let's back up to their time zone really quick. All right, as you can see, China got problems. They got issues. They pray to the wrong God. That's why. And they have some very, very porous land that allows for this SO2 to be pushed up through the ground. It's very soft, very porous. It's like a sponge. It's got all these different pathways that gas can come up through it. Okay, so when we get waves of pressure, this area darkens up and you see it. Okay, meanwhile, you see our vortex right here taking all the gas from these plumes, throwing it up against the Himalayas all the way around and then recycling it again. So it's like, having the air conditioning in your car on circulation where there's no outside air. It's just the air from inside being recirculated, and then someone cuts the cheese because it smells like rotten eggs too. Meanwhile, this area filling in, little dark patches coming up all over the place, little perforations in the crust all the way up through Turkey, all the way through this region, even here in the Holy Land. Okay, all along that strip. Saudi Arabia's in big trouble, man. Oh, boy, if you only knew what they did. Meanwhile, we got, there's your SO2. Or what they continue to do. All right, here we go. You can see it's all up through Europe. It looks like all these peppered little spots, almost kind of like, well, I'm not going to say it anymore. But you can see it all the way through Europe. Each country's got some. The only spot doesn't, middle of Sahara Desert, and that's because all the sand's blowing out of there. And pretty soon, when all the sand's gone and it's not covering up the ground anymore, don't be surprised we see SO2 emissions out of this area right here. Really? Already? Well, that was quick. Because they don't be surprised to start seeing SO2 emissions out of this region here because we're starting to lose the sand there. Okay, even Madagascar's got it. Okay, even these islands off of there, they're emitting SO2 as well. So it used to be 4 of these little dots showed up on the Sierra Nevadas, and I think it was BP Earthwatch that noticed 4 little dots, and everybody slammed on the brakes and paid attention, and, well, now the whole world is bleeding out, and no one bats an eye. Well, I do. I got my eye on it, and that's why I bring it to you. All right, so we got to continue on here. do I do that one? Sure, really quick. All right, back to particulates. We got to do an SO4 every once in a while. All right, we don't do this every time. This is SO4, another sulfate with another critter. Hi, critter. All right, another sulfate. Okay, it has two more oxygen atoms, SO2, SO4. So it's sulfur quad oxide, not dioxide. Excuse me, I get my drink going here. All right, so cherry lemonade is good. All right, this is SO4. It comes out of the ground, but it also man-made. But that's not what we're concerned about. It's the fact that it's all over the place. Okay, this particulate, when it nucleates with water, okay, it bonds with it instead. It doesn't like adhere to it. It actually has a chemical bond with it. So SO4 searches out water to bond with. And we have a lot of water vapor in our air now because our oceans are so hot, evaporating more water into the air. We have a higher humidity in our air. There's more water in it. That therefore, more water, more this can adhere to it. The problem is SO4, when it bonds with water, H2O, it makes a new compound called H2SO4, which is known as sulfuric acid. And you're looking at, well, awful lot of sulfuric acid out there. And it gets caught up in these storms, okay, and then these storms make landfall and it douses the land with a bunch of sulfuric acid. This storm, for instance, you can see that it's like already kind of picked up a bunch of it. So as we kind of just look around, it's a runaway train. Okay. Moving on. Now, back to our ocean report. Latest. So let's just get on over here. Ow. Sorry, cramps in my hand. All right. You can see our plume still kind of breaking up through this region. These little pockets of cold water kind of popping up here and there, breaking this whole area up a little bit. We still have this concentrated little plume here, kind of like a heart, shape of a little heart there. Okay. And then, just because I love you. Yeah. And you can see all of these little plumes here. This kind of died out in this region. I think that's been our little change, maybe, is right here. But we still have some little heat issues there coming off of South America here. So stuff can still come through here, pick up speed, not speed, but strength. Okay. Now, as we come over here, you can see that our comma-shaped thing still kind of our little yellow bar here with a blue concentrated cold water patch and our other bar going back over the mid-upper Pacific. But what I want to go into here is our Juan de Fuca, okay? All this was starting to fill in red, okay, even the middle part. We didn't see much quake activity, all right? We did see some, and it did relieve some of the pressure. But a lot of this slid underneath, and now the pressure is being pushed under this plate. All right. Now we're starting to see our SO2 emissions, probably going to see some volcanic activity here soon and fires. Okay. Let me go ahead and put those back on really quick and touch base with those. Okay. You see, the area that's been relieved, right around here, we see cold water inundation coming in. Well, it's directly across from our fire region. I hate to tell you, but our pressure was relieved over here and is still in the process of being relieved. Meanwhile, as we come down here, you see our area of pressure right here. These are hot waters being produced because of volcanic activity on the ocean floor right here, okay? Whatever, it's hot water, magma coming out, there's something creating a hot water plume right in this area. it's so much, and we haven't had enough quake activity in this region that now it's busting out with the fires. You can see our yellow bulge kind of goes in like this. It could go all the way like that and come back out, and that's why we're seeing fires over in this region, possibly. You see what I'm saying? All right, let me pull back there. All right, there you go. See, everything's kind of lining up a little bit. Okay. I didn't make this map up, okay? This is just what's going on, okay? Meanwhile, Tamumasi out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, still going to town, all right? It's got white out there now in some of these regions. It's showing white because we have so much pressure in the region. Oh, is there a set of eyes in that? Oh, wow. Oh, enough of that. I've seen enough faces for one day. Oh, boy. As we get into it, we see our volcanic islands through this island chain here have been having microquakes and stuff, reducing pressure and allowing cold water inundation. Same with the Kamchatka over here. You can see how it's working. Whoa. Okay. Reaching back all around Korea. Korea's in a lot of hot water. Okay, Vietnam's in hot water. China's in hot water. Japan's in hot water. Come down here to Taiwan. You can see a little bit of yellow starting to creep in here. Okay, we need to get more activity going on in this area, right? Yeah, there's a lot of things I need, but I gotta rely on the Lord. So, anyways, thank you for the offer. We could chat later, maybe. We gotta finish the show and then we could chat. Cold water inundation on the backside. Bingo. Our fulcrum point right here needs more relief. We're starting to see heat building up in that area. This area over here getting hot around that island. Watch out for something maybe possibly blowing on this island. As we come on down, you can see here's Java. It does a lot of the SO2 emissions. We didn't cover Java during SO2, did we? Well, anyways, very strong emissions come out of this region. Oh, hang on, I got a critter. Yeah, I got a critter. Want to go outside? Just don't eat the berries. Okay. Back to this, you can see cold water inundation around Java because it's also being one of our relief valves here, SO2. And you can see it's all pretty purple right here. 8 hours ago. There we go. You can see that there was pretty good today. They had pretty good strong emissions out of the volcanoes and stuff there. So it relieves a lot of pressure in that region. So when we come back to this, all over the place, you can see it correlates with our cold water. Okay, I just do that so you guys can comprehend and understand. It's a lot easier to just see it. All right, here we go. Little hot spot off the horn here. Watch out for activity in that region. We've seen some earthquake activity at those plate boundaries not too long ago. Little patches opening up here, over there, all along the bottom. And then all along the side here is South America. You can see it filling in, all right? They're going to have some issues here pretty soon, too. Now what I want to do is put on the winds, and we will cover how the winds, these thermal pockets are directing our weather now. Hot air forms over the hotter regions, right? And cold air forms over the colder regions. Well, hot air rises, cold air comes in to replace it. And we get rotation. Okay, this one had split up 4 ways last night. Remember that? Now it's different. Okay, we're still seeing stuff skirt the coast here, but you see this rotation of cold, hot right there has caused vorticity, and now we got air being blown into Oregon, Washington, that region. As soon as it hits the this cold water here, it skirts the coast, little bit making it in, going up the valley a little bit, but still this whole region kind of being protected. All right. All right, so, oh boy. First, let's just stick it right there for a minute, and I'm gonna quit moving it around, and I'll just let it sit there and let your eyes kind of look around for a minute, see all the different rotations, all your different wind patterns. Okay, your conveyor belt type structure going up, coming out over this, back down around, splits in half right now. We got a new kind of smaller, organized central pocket because of the heart-shaped nose right there. All right, so all right, so there's all of that. Let's come over here too. You guys got to see that side real quick. You can see how all this flow coming across really causing some rotation right here. We're going to see another. This thing's going to keep producing storms right here, and they don't have sand to diminish their hurricanes or cyclones, okay? Typhoons, whatever they call them. Okay, so they don't have any sand to diminish theirs, and they're just getting lashed, all right? This latest hurricane, the Capricorn one that hit, let me just tell you something about it. Oh boy, I have to show you. I can't just tell you. I have to show you. So we'll leave it right there, and then we'll come on over and open up our quake report now. You guys are so patient. I love you guys. Bingo. Try to get right to the meat of it and get to the show and not dabble around so much. That's why I try to set up a show, and it's so enjoyable to have it wiped out. Okay. Starting off, deep quake region 4.4 down at 552. There's your deep quake region. Quake, our typical magnitude for the day. Okay, we're seeing 4.5, close enough. Puts 5 energy at the surface. There's a 5 right there. It's a little lower, 82. Volcanic islands right here at Tonga. Okay. Meanwhile, this little island relieves, whoops, let me get a little closer. This little island had 3 SO2 emission sites, so it's relieving a lot of pressure. So any kind of deep quake that wants to pop off a 5 here, well, reduced pressure reduced right here. All up through this is all volcano islands that are all active, okay, keeping the pressure relieved. Our deep quake region where 2 plate boundaries kind of intersect, we have a 4.6 down at 126. That tells you it's a volcanic island. Okay, up here we have a 4.5 down at 191, another volcanic island or feature, okay, down in this little trench down in there. Come over to Java, nothing there. We come up through here. 4.4 at the surface, relieving energy there. Okay, very quiet through this region today. No quake around Taiwan. We saw that yellow coming in. Temperature rising, pressure rising. We need quake activity there. Okay, very quiet up through here. All quiet through there. We'll come over here at the end to do all magnitude. Let me just, well. There's a fulcrum point right here. There's another fulcrum point right here. There's a bunch of them all combined into one kind of fulcrum point type shaped structure. Just has some saw teeth on it. All right. As you come down this little plate boundary, you can see different transition of land right here. Your weak zone right through the foothills, just off of it is your 5.4 at the surface in Pakistan. You have to watch that region right here. Well, this is in India, Pakistan just next door. But we have to watch this region right here because that's a pretty healthy quake, 5.4, and we haven't seen anything along this plate boundary in a long time. So, possible new spot of path of least resistance, a possible new weak spot that we're going to have to watch. It only had one 5.4. It should have an aftershock. It should have like a little quake swarm. All right, this looks like a little slippage here that just all right, and cause some little shift right here. We'll have to watch that. Meanwhile, there's some energy around Greece up here too. 4.2 at the surface here in Turkey. Well, yeah, that is in Turkey. Okay, 4.2. We got to watch that area too. This fulcrum point where these two plate boundaries come up right up to this point right there. We got to watch that region too. So, all right. No, well, activity going along here all the time. They're just not showing it. Here's a good one down here. 5-0 at the plate boundary. This is that spot that had the bigger quake before. Ooh, sorry, it was more here. But just south of it, we have a 4.9, another magical 4.9 right there at 116. 4.5, 242, and 4.0, 217. All right, good. Anything else we need to cover? All right, let's go all magnitude and dive into Marca, land of the debate. Are you free or not? Can we debate that? Do you even know what freedom is? All right, as we get into this, you can see all these little microquakes going along at volcanic islands, sorry. Meanwhile, here we have a 4.0 down at 26. It's not right on the boundary here. It's on this little ridge. Another one further on the ridge, 3.6 traveling down that way. Going on up, even something on Kodiak Island here. No, Larsen Bay. Coming on up, boom. Nothing really up in the fulcrum point area, just a little minor. 3.2 here. Here's a little interesting. 3.6 and a 3 right here. So new little spots open along our fulcrum point, the back side edge of it. Okay, we come into Juan de Fuca area. Note, no quakes of any kind of magnitude in there. We do have a small fulcrum point quake, but 1.8 is a mouse fart, and we need more quake activity because it's being pushed underneath this region now. Nothing at Rainier today, but we've seen activity here at Mount St. Helens. We saw some at this one the other day. So every time we get around to pressure, all of these things fire up, and we get fires that just bust up out of the ground all over the place. You go watch the smoke charts, and they just all of a sudden 15 fires just all blossom all across the West Coast at the same time. 3.0 down at 13 there up in Stanley, Idaho, where we're seeing our SO2 emissions and fires. Okay, we're seeing earthquakes there too. Are you paying attention? We are seeing SO2 emissions and fires and earthquakes in Stanley, Idaho. Good. All right, cool. Moving on over to Montana. Just a few little activity there. What's going on here? 2.3 at Greenville, California. Now, as we drop on in here to the geysers, they're doing their job. Lots of microquaking. Nothing in the North Bay. Just a little something way out here in Brentwood. 1.8. 2 in Trees, California. See, all of these are along the not Central Valley, along these little foothills right in this real region. There's nothing on, the actual plate boundary. They're here, there, up there. Pinnacles, California. Way out in here. Huron, California. Some on this plate boundary, or on this plate on the other side, Simeon, California. Okay, and as we come on down, little activity still going on here. Not much, though. We could use more. Where's that event out in Nevada? Here we go. All right, so this strip of quakes that was in a linear fashion is kind of diminished. We do have some kind of activity out of Goldfield, Nevada, but it's 2.3 and smaller, so still venting some energy. Out by Mono Lake here, south of Bodie, 1.9. All right, so we're starting to see a little activity kind of creeping inland here. Meanwhile, as we get down to Southern California, where our fires and stuff are, we're still seeing microquake activity, but it's not enough. Okay, it's very small, it's very widespread. We could use a good quake and a quake swarm to reduce pressure on this blob right here. Okay, we're just going to call it the blob. It goes right up that plate boundary, comes out, extends out just a tad bit. That whole structure right there is that whole mess right there. Take off the wind. Okay, and now you can see why we're having fires in that region, because the earthquakes aren't big enough. We're not having enough. And now we're seeing SO2 push up out of perforations in the crust, starting fires at the surface. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. I like to tell jokes and make people laugh, and I like to see smiles. So this is a little hard for me to do. But we got hope. All right, it's not the end yet. All right, so there's all that in a bag of chips. Come on over to Texas, check out some magnitudes here, because I see something big hiding there. 4.0 in White City, New Mexico, with a bunch of little microquaking going on around these man-made perforations in the crust, and we all understand why. Okay, shall we? .8. All done. Let's just take a quick little magnitude check here. Ooh, Dominican Republic 4.3. So there's an uptick in magnitude here. And then 3.8 North Atlantic at the surface. No plate boundary, no volcanic site, no like pretty bald area out there, I would say. I don't see many other little seamounts, maybe way over here. I'd say 3.8 out here in the middle of nowhere is a diverse quake, wouldn't you? Out of how many times you watch this show, how many times you've been over to Dutch since? When have you ever seen a quake out there? Definitely something going on there. Let's come on over and see what's going on out there. Right here, right above that. Well, shoot. We can go right here, right above that. Nothing really. Doesn't look like there's a big hot spot or anything going out there. Well, maybe because they had a quake and it relieved the pressure. Just think of that, too. We got hot spots that are trying to grow, and a little quake out here like that stops something from growing and changes patterns or anything like that. So not only can our hot spots change stuff, but little diverse quakes and stuff like that can, too. Good little example right there. All right, Lord, help me get the volcano page open. Are we done there? Yes, we're done there. Let's get the volcano page open. Thank you for your patience here. All right, 35 erupting. Can you see that? 35 erupting. That's insane. And at the 32 that are currently active, that's 67. That's even more insane. If I'd have told you 7 years ago on this day, my 7-year anniversary, that we would have 67 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy, and I would send me off to the loony bin. Well, I went to the loony bin, did all that great stuff, came back, and I am still crazy. There are still 67 volcanoes, and I am crazy about you. All right? We could talk all about that great stuff, too. All right, let's get into September 11th, 9/11. I think our biggest sort of volcanoes and stuff. Wait until some of these terrorists wake up next to a volcano. They're going to get scared too. All right, Luatobi is out on these little islands, and you can see it's doing its job. Tsunosejima, unknown OBS. Meanwhile, Ibu, IBU, at 9,000 feet. We're just getting higher and higher, aren't we, guys? Luatobi, 9,000 feet. Semaru, 14,000. Takono, 9. White Island, ongoing minor low-level eruption at 4,000 feet. Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got Fuego, 15,000 feet. Fuego means fire. Reventador, 15,000. Sabancaya, 24,000. And that's just in the last few minutes, you guys. Here's September 10th. Here's today. Let's get into today, which is now yesterday, because, well, time flies at this channel. And here we go. Brief stop at the map. Just to remind you, we have all these volcanoes on that little plate boundary right there, either active or erupting, that relieve pressure along that plate boundary right there, okay? And you see all this activity through Java, up by Sumatra and stuff. All these over here in Japan, here Italy, down by the Horn of Africa. Okay, so all along Mexico, Peru, the West Coast, even out here, Michael. We have Home Reef and Tofua out here active as well. And then hiding down here off the page in Antarctica. Okay, don't let that slip your mind. Now back to this. Ibu, Semaru, 14. Okay, a little lower than its maximum. White Island, 3,000 feet. Okay, it's having issues down in New Zealand now. Popocatépetl, no. Santa Guida, no. Fuego, 15,000. Cat mugs. Just don't let your cat drink out of it. 15,000. Sangay. Reventador. Sabancaya, 21,000. Namiragira, active lava lake. Nice. Know the signs of narcolepsy. If you're falling asleep during this show, that's not narcolepsy. That's just my soothing voice. Okay, let's move on to the weather. It could be because this show's so boring, too. Not. All right, let's move on. As we approach this, here is your hurricane already sitting at 981 millibars that they're projecting, okay? We go into the 11th. Now, depending on our G storm, whether it's G1, G2, sorry, I'm backing up here now. September 11th, G1 magnetic enhancement, all right? Geomagnetic enhancement starting right there. Enhancement there, so it'll be stronger than what it looks like. Okay, because I don't think these models even know about the enhanced nucleation yet. So there's your noontime, your convection. There's your nighttime of September 11th. Your September 11th anniversary is going to be a hurricane. Now, 7 years ago, when this happened to me, there was a hurricane on September 10th and 11th. It was Hurricane Ivan, I think. Yeah, it's weird how everything happens at this date. Okay, and if you were paying attention, some of you saw Satan today. You just didn't know it. Or maybe you did. There's the nighttime of September 11th. 990 millibar, Louisiana, Mississippi. Okay, so enhancement probably during that time as well, while making landfall. All right, I pray that there is no geomagnetic enhancement. I pray that the shield stepped in and blocked any kind of enhancement to that storm. I see it just blossoming, going crazy already, so it's going to be very, very, very delicate issue. The morning of the 12th, sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth, but here's the 12th with still G1. Now, depending on when this thing hits, how strong it comes in, but we're still possible enhancement on the 12th, okay? So enhancement to that. There's noon to this whole day. Enhancement there. Enhancement of convection might be stronger right there. Convection when the sun's, this thing's had all day to blossom too. It might be pretty gnarly at convection there. Then it starts to dissipate by the nighttime, but there's still chances of enhancement. Now, as we go into the morning of the 13th, I'm going by this really quick. They got their G2 enhancement, all right? So there's this noon, convection, nighttime. So you would see enhancement of anything going on there. This I'd watch out for on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Remember that. Noon, watch out in there. This little low starting to spin up. If we have a G2 happening that day, watch out. Oh, I forgot to go back and look at what came off the sun 3 days ago. Well, we already kind of know what to expect this storm. Ooh, just not quite sure of the magnitude of it. Sorry, I had to yawn. Try sleep deprivation. It's fun stuff. All right, nighttime of 14, morning of 15, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of 16. All this is way outside our loop now of reliability, so we're just going to march through this. Morning of the 16th, noon, convection, nighttime. Watch out for this thing right here. Possibly around the 16th. Just starts off as your normal low, sitting out there a little bit. Just nothing doing, nothing going on. Don't look at me. And then all of a sudden, here at convection on the 15th, kind of comes to life. Nighttime starts to take aim, starts to spin in the morning of the 16th as making landfall, spinning hard at landfall, and then just whipping that place like that on the 16th. There's the morning of the 17th, noon. Look out up here in Canada. These low pressure things doing that scary too. Convection right there, the 17th. Nighttime, 18th. Noon, convection, nighttime, 19, noon, convection, nighttime, 20, noon, convection, nighttime. Wow, 30 or 21st. What am I talking about? Noon, convection, nighttime, 22nd. Noon, convection, nighttime, 23rd. Convection, nighttime, 24th. Convection, nighttime. See that stuff. Watch out for this kind of activity. When lows form up like that, they pull up moist, warm air. And if the tail end of the cold air is still pushed way south, it'll collide down here sometimes. And then get sucked, pulled up into there like that. There's convection, nighttime, morning of the 26th, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, I think that was the whole loop there. So let it play there. Everybody brace for impact on that storm, okay? There's no playing games anymore with these hurricanes. Even though it just brews up right here, that's what it's trying to do, is trick you into thinking, lull you to sleep. It's one I don't have to worry about. Meanwhile, it gains intensity throughout the course of the next 24, 48 hours with this unknown geomagnetic enhancement. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, what? It's category 3 this morning. All right, so I pray that there's no geomagnetic enhancement, that this thing just tapers off and comes in as least as possible. But from what we're seeing, it has the capacity to be a lot stronger. Okay. All right. Now let's get you over to the fun stuff. There's your astrophysics, geophysics. Now let's get you over to, well, where the spiritual realm or your metaphysics, where they meet, where they combine. Now, how am I going to do this, Lord? Oh, yeah, here. Let's start off with this image up here first. How do we get there? You want me to go like this to there. Okay, There it is. I see what you're doing. Where is it here? Bingo. Okay. Take a look at that picture for a second there. Okay. Long, hard look at that picture and tell me if you see anything, well, odd about it. Okay. This is Super Typhoon Capricorn that just hit Henan. Okay. And you see what it did to that country over there? Don't be surprised. These storms can blossom really fast. Okay. Pretty interesting capture here. What I want to do is there's a different radar image. And look at all the lightning here. And then this eye of a hurricane. Gee, it almost looks like a face with an eye for a hurricane. One of them faces again, it's almost like they're copying me. They're making fun of me. I can't believe I survived 7 years of facing the devil every day, man. It's been a brutal, brutal battle. Anyway, so look at that. Now, I was telling you how the spiritual realm interacts with your weather, right? And I showed you like the big bad wolf blowing out clouds out of his mouth and stuff. Why don't you take a long, hard look at that and think about what the spiritual realm having an effect on your weather. Oh, here, let me just put this little ditty on here. I think they talk about this just really quick. Something about the Chinese before it hit.
Guangdong province released a satellite cloud image of Typhoon Capricorn. It showed a terrifying image which frightened many netizens who exclaimed, "It's too scary." Nimid province released a satellite cloud image of Typhoon Capricorn. It showed a terrifying image which frightened many netizens who exclaimed, "It's too scary." Showed Tori in Guangdong. What is horrifying is
horrifying. Come on now.
It's at the Haikou City meteor.
There we go. All right, so there's your spiritual realm having effects with the weather. And what's interesting is there's also an eye hiding in this one too. It's a little hard to capture here, but I think I'm going to go for it. Might lose focus here for a minute. I will go and capture that. Slide this direction a tad bit. And then we're going to go. See the other eye? Just so you know, it's not a fluke. There's another eye in there. See it? And then when I took a thumbnail or a picture of this and posted it for the community page, my camera identified that as a face, put a square around it and everything. I put a little filter on it, made it a unicorn, and made a little all kinds of little funny little faces because it recognized it as a face. The computer recognized that as a face. Now you telling me the computer, the phone has pareidolia? Yeah, the spiritual realm is real. And, well, you could see it having effects on the weather. All right. And what's funny is, I still smoke cigarettes. I've been trying to cut back and quit. Not the best at it, but look, here it's blowing smoke. Do you see blowing smoke? It's making fun of me smoking. How crazy is this? All right, my face showing up in the clouds, my face showing up in the weather, my face showing up next to the moon. And now here's this storm mimicking me and my smoking. Anyways, interesting times that we live in. And China has good reason to be terrified. Okay, they need to get on board. They picked the wrong deity to worship. And then they picked the wrong deity to mess with and come up against. Okay? If you knew what they were doing to this country and all the advantages they're taking of this country, oh boy. So they got some issues of their own to handle, and I think before they start going to war, with other countries firing off missiles and stuff, and doing all that dumb stuff, they might want to prepare for war with, well, Father Nature. It's not Mother Nature, by the way. It's Father Nature. Because he's got his eye on them, doesn't he? And this is just the other day, this Capricorn, Hurricane Capricorn, and I'll show you some of the video that it lashed this country so bad. I mean, some of it I can't show. It's just too scary to show. But definitely something going on there, don't you think? Especially when the phone recognizes it as the face and gives it a nice little... And then there's all the lightning in the other eye, too, as well. But there's your spiritual realm showing up in our weather again. Pretty fascinating stuff. Okay, so we made it through that. Hopefully you enjoyed that image right there. That's just the other day. Now, when I tell you this hurricane that's coming into Florida here, let me show you what else we got captured on that storm. This isn't that storm, by the way, okay? This isn't the one hitting Florida. This is the one that just hit China not too long ago. And from this far back, you can see the face. I can recognize my own face from there. It's crazy. We'll go in again. Oh, the forecast thing. No, it's over here. So I put these up real quick over at the community if you want to take a little peek at them. All right, this is the one I'm talking about. Here's the storm right off the coast right now. And there's a face that blossomed here with two eyes. Here, let me kind of... As this storm all came together, rotating and blossomed, two little areas opened up right here like eyes. Boing, like eyelids opening up. All right, and these two eyes popped out. There's a nose and a mouth. If you come over to... Let's see, this isn't doing it justice, but come over to the community page, look at it. You'll see there's a little face in Francine. Okay, this is the face of Francine. I titled it The Face of Francine here. Maybe if we darken this a tad bit, maybe that'll work. Tilt your head a little bit. You can see it. Okay. And it's funny that this thing, my phone recognized this is a face too. Okay, so it's not just me. Your technology thinks it's a face too. Because it is. There's three-dimensional aspects to it that your face mapping technology, the little green dots that kind of map out your face. Well, they map out these faces too, and they recognize it as a face. Pretty interesting. So there's the face of Francine, okay? And if we seen a face on this typhoon and you saw the damage it did to China, well, let's pray that Francine here is a little more forgiving, or maybe it's just, okay? That's why I'm saying this storm, take it seriously, okay? There's a spiritual aspect to it, especially when it's happening on the 7-year anniversary and on the anniversary of 9/11. Okay, the same time last time, 7 years ago. In fact, maybe we should go look that up really quick too. Hurricane. Whoops. Sorry, I got one numb hand that I can barely feel buttons. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. It's a battle just a type, huh? Hurricane Irma. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ivan. It was Hurricane Irma. And you know it was captured in Hurricane Irma, weren't you? I'll show you that someday, too. But at that time, when all this started happening to me, September 10th of 2017, we had a very similar strong hurricane brewing. Okay. Spiritual events happened on that day. That was the day the dragon appeared. Okay. And let me just say, I was afraid of seeing the dragon appear again today. Not afraid, I just looking forward to it because I know what to look for. And boy, showed up too during the debate. Amazing. All right, so a lot of spiritual events happen during this time, okay, and crazy weather with faces. Okay, faces are the theme. Faces in the cloud, faces by the moon, faces all. It's because that's what we recognize as each other's faces. Okay, somebody will tell you their name. There's a spot in your brain, a lobe in your brain, dedicated to remembering names. Okay, it happens to be the smallest lobe in your brain. Somebody tells you their name, you immediately forget it. 10 seconds later, somebody could ask, hey, what's my name? I went out on the street and I'm like, hi, I'm Brian. I'm with so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm doing a survey. What's my first name? Nobody could remember it. 1,000 people couldn't remember it. It's because you're naturally inclined to forget it. So we remember faces. So that's why faces is kind of the theme in this spiritual activity that's going on. And as we kind of go through and pick out this face right here really quick. Oh, wait, no. Wrong one. Just put the hard one. My bad. See, that's why I like to get all this stuff pulled up before the show so we don't have to scroll like that all the time and play games. Okay, another face in the cloud. My face showing up in the clouds, but that's not what we're really concerned with. We're concerned with who's creating that. See, the spiritual realm here, Jesus and his heart are in control of the weather. The spiritual realm, this gentleman right here, is in control of the weather. Okay? And his face is showing up in the storms, in the clouds, out by the moon. Okay, his face and his heart are the same person. Okay, guys, getting the equals sign here. So there's layout. We'll leave that image right there. We're going to pull up some more to read to. Face by the moon. This is always a good, reliable one. Okay, this is authentic. I love this man's testimony who recorded this. The gentleman's obviously, I can tell he's a colored gentleman who probably doesn't have all that much money, but goes out and invests in a P9000 camera to go zoom in on the moon to capture this face. And how well crystal clear defined it is, how shocked the eyewitnesses that are there. Yeah, it's my face again. And it's like, why does my face keep showing up all over the place? Well, it's cool little ditty because, well, it's because of who I am. Yeah. Just Brian Knight, but I got a couple of gifts, we'll say. And then we'll, what am I doing here? Lost. Let's just play this one for a minute, because this is fun. Here's a video of a woman using a Wi-Fi detector. No, I am not a woman using a Wi-Fi detector. This is not a video of a woman using a Wi-Fi detector. This is a video of a miracle happening on Easter.
Oh,
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
Just real
So I
quick.
know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now.
Right.
Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter, when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So
Actually, let's do the little lion face one right there.
where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face.
The lion of the tribe of Judah showing up in the clouds on Easter. As promised 2,000 years ago. 2,000-year-old prophecies been coming true all over the place. The Revelation 12 star alignment, the dragon showing up, there's all sorts of other star alignments that happen too. Not just the Revelation 12 one, there's Revelation, oh my goodness, so many of them going on. All right, so there's that. We got our images we're going to read to. You feel like yep. Okay, so here we go. Got some more stuff for you guys today. All right, so boy, after watching that debate, if you guys are rattled, this show, the debates rattled you more than this show probably. All right, but it's important that we relax. Understand this is all happening for a reason, okay? And that it's out of your control, but there are things that you can do in the meantime, and let's try to find the peace that outweighs your circumstances. So in my presence, you can find fullness of joy, perfect peace, and unfailing love. So walk with me along the path of life, enjoying my company each step of the way. Because I am always by your side, the joy of my presence is yours for the taking. Take as much of it as you want, okay? It's yours for the taking. And I will keep you in perfect peace as you fix your thoughts on me. So stay in communication with me through your spoken words, thoughts, and songs. Spend ample time absorbing my word, letting it speak into your heart, where it changes the way you think and live. Okay, let it absorb into your heart some compassion, and let it change the way you think and live. And as you ponder who I really am, my light shines warmly into your mind, helping you live in my peace. Doesn't it? Okay, I want you to flourish. I want you to flourish in my presence like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. And as the sunlight of my presence nourishes you, you are able to produce abundant fruits in my kingdom. And the more you trust in my unfailing love, the more you will realize how utterly secure you are in me. You are secure in me. You're finding that out. Utterly secure. The more you trust in my unfailing love, the more secure you will be. And you can now find joy in the most unexpected places. However, this requires effort. So, searching for the good and refusing to let your natural responses blind you to what is there, I will help you respond in a supernatural way, giving you eyes that see beyond the obvious and discover hidden treasure in your troubles.
You guys are finding that hidden treasure in your troubles yet? You overcoming them and you feel good after you do, and then maybe another one happens, but you overcome that. You don't let anything stop you, and you feel good inside. Because I help you respond in a, it's not natural. This is a supernatural way, giving you eyes that see beyond the obvious. Whoa, you guys can see beyond the obvious, can't you? Because most people look at this and just see clouds. I'm like, no, tilt your head to the right. Can't you see this face with the hair coming back and a crown? What are you, blind? No, they can't see it. They cannot see it. So if you can, you're blessed. Okay? It's a supernatural way. Okay? Searching for the good and refusing to let the natural responses blind you to what is there. Don't let it blind you to what's right in front of you. I will help you respond in the supernatural ways, giving you eyes that see beyond the obvious. And now you have discovered the hidden treasure that's in your troubles. Living joyously is a choice. And since you inhabit such a sinful, broken world, you must choose gladness many times daily. That's your salvage work. When you're choosing gladness and you refuse to your joy be stripped away from you, it's hard. It's not easy. You can't just fake a smile. Well, okay, I'm happy now. No, it takes a minute. Sometimes it happens quick. Sometimes it's a little longer. But you're recovering. You're salvaging your day. You're choosing gladness many times daily. This is especially true during your difficult times, right? And when something happens that breaks the pattern of comfort and happiness in your life, you are being put to the test. These trials can both prove and strengthen your faith, which is much more precious than gold. I am training you to consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Okay, now you see that these trials are tests. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just getting stronger. Okay, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You're passing all these tests, whether you realize it or not. You got to keep going. Remember, I'm right there, right by you, holding your hand. I am training you to consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Some of you doing your salvage work, you did so well that you got a day off, right? And the day off that you had, when you didn't have something to like work against, there was nothing to overcome that day, you felt kind of unproductive. You almost felt kind of, I don't know, something was missing, huh? And that's when you realize, hey, without adversity, life is boring. There's nothing to overcome. So you do get days off from it, but take those as days of rest and realize that, hey, you did a good job. You get a day of rest. Not every day do you have to fight, but most days you do. Okay. And when you, like I said, when you get that day off and you didn't have to do a salvage that day, you feel kind of like empty. I don't know. Some of you are finding that. Many of you will run into that. And then that's another thing to overcome. Okay. Living joyously is a choice. Okay. You live in a broken, sinful world. You have to choose gladness many times daily. Fight.
Don't just give up. You got to fight to choose gladness. These trials prove your strength and your faith, and they're more precious than gold, because now you consider it joy when you face trials. See, I made the agonizing choice to endure the cross for the joy set before me, the eternal pleasure of bringing my followers to glory. You follow on YouTube, you've subscribed, you liked, you come over here and watch. That's following, like following on Facebook, following on Twitter. Well, you follow on YouTube. If you're over here watching this, you are following me. All right, right? And I bring eternal pleasure to my followers, don't I? The eternal pleasure of bringing my followers to glory. Every time you have a successful salvage during a day, that's a glory. That's like a little victory. I call it a glory, all right? So when you keep having each glory through the day, you get to see that my followers do get the glory, the eternal pleasure of bringing my followers to glory. And that's, you're practicing these things and you're finding that peace inside. Each time you do it, you achieve a new one and another one and a new one and another one and a new one and another one. You just, guys are chalking them up. Okay, yeah, I got some more here. Now, again, I get sucked into this one. It's hard for me sometimes. I do a lot of tasks during the day. I multitask, okay? And that means multi-prayers, because before you begin each task, large or small, take time to pray about it. All right? Now, that's hard to do when we multitask. I forget too. I got 10 things juggling, and I forgot to pray for number 9. Oops. All right, so it's kind of difficult, but before you begin a task, large or small, take a little time to pray about it. And by doing so, you acknowledge your need for me, and you pour your trust, or you pour your trust that I will help you. Okay, this enables you to go about your work in dependence on me, and there are many benefits to this practice. I can guide your mind as you think things out and make decisions. Okay, when you do that, listen closely to the small voice inside as I guide your mind and as you think out things and make decisions. Just knowing that I'm involved in what you're doing gives you confidence, reducing stress. Okay, that's a big factor when you're doing stressful work, kind of like what I do here. All right, so knowing that I am involved in what you're doing gives you confidence. Okay, look for that confidence in your work. Okay, when you do, it reduces the stress. And it's wise to thank me often for my help and to keep asking me to guide you along the best pathway. And though the Bible instructs you to pray continually, at times you ignore this teaching. And when you're feeling rushed, you find it hard to slow down enough to seek my perspective. I get sucked into that one too, because I get rushed. I like to multitask. I like to knock out a lot of things all at once so I can keep going and get even more done, right? So when you're feeling rushed, you find it hard to slow down enough to seek my perspective. To seek my perspective on the work at hand, too. So, when diving in and forging ahead on your own, it's actually counterproductive. When you request my involvement before you begin, I can point you in the right direction, saving you precious time and energy. Okay? Again, it's for you, saving you precious time and energy. I delight in helping you with everything, even simple tasks. Okay, because you're my beloved. We're gonna close with this right here. Okay, I'll just leave that image right there, I guess. Yeah, good enough. Okay, when you see that image is right there, the rock, the foundation, know that I am your shepherd to guide and shield you. A good shepherd cares about his sheep and understands them very well. My care for you is wonderfully complete. I love you with perfect, unfailing love. I know everything about you, your weaknesses and limitations, your struggles and sins, your strengths and abilities. So I am able to shepherd you exceptionally well. I have designed you to walk through this perilous world in trusting dependence on me. I lovingly go before you and open up the way, carefully preparing the path you will follow. 7 years ago, I lovingly went before you and opened up the way. Well, over here, come here, you. Got a YouTube stream and carefully prepared the path you will follow. I remove many dangers and obstacles from the road ahead, and I help you handle the difficulties that remain. So, even when you walk through the darkest valley, you need not be afraid, for I am close beside you. Enjoy my nearness and communicate with me. I will guide you carefully through each day and all your days, for I am your God forever and ever, and I will be your guide even to the end. The end. All right. I love you guys. Good job. Nice patience, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get something out of this. The joy set before me is when you have success with these tools I'm giving you. Do you hear me? When you guys have success, you try and you use these tools that I'm giving you and you find the peace that transcends your circumstances. That's what brings me joy. Okay. I found it myself through a lot of pain, a lot of hardship and stuff. But what I found was so precious that I want to share it with you guys. It's very important, okay, that you believe me. Because when you do, something miraculous happens and you understand who I am, who you are. If you are here, this is me in the clouds showing up on Easter. You're caught up with me in the clouds. It's like a good book or a good song, a good YouTube or a good TikTok thread. You get caught up in it. It kind of takes you away from the rest of the world for a while. You're so caught up in it, you forget about everything else. That's what praying does. It takes your mind off of everything else and puts it right where it belongs. Okay? Keep doing it. It works. If it doesn't work right away, keep doing it until it does. You will find that it does work, that it will bring the peace that transcends your circumstances. You will fully understand that it's all part of the plan, that you have no control over it. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Okay, you're looking for serenity. You're accepting that you can't change things, that you don't have control over everything. When you let go and give that control to me, I make beautiful collages out of it, out of each one of your victories, each one of your glories. When you salvage a day and you shine that light into somebody else's, that's another glory and another glory and another glory. And I transform you, taking you from glory to glory to glory while giving you glimpses of your future.
You are caught up with me in the clouds. I like to meet my family every night, but I can't come over right now. I have to go to the doctor and find out how close I'm going to be going to surgery. Or, anyways, I can't come over right now, but I can meet you in the air. That's called live on YouTube, where you follow me, right? I'm not a leader. I'm just some dude who does what he does. And if you like it, then you follow me, all right? I'm a leader by default because you guys come over here and watch, all right? So you see me in the clouds. You're caught up with me in the clouds. You met me in the air, all right? I set this up so I could meet you guys in the air. I prepared a place where you can be where I am. Right here, right now. All right? I love you guys. I miss you guys. You hear a little frog out there? He's hopping in the show. Do you hear that little frog out there croaking? And he's like, hurry up, come out here. All right. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I hope you get something out of this show. Okay. I hope this brings you peace, courage, hope, strength, endurance. Keep practicing your salvage work during this time while we wait. Bring that light. Bring this light. Your face will glow like this. Bring that light into other people's lives, as many as you can before time runs out. See how many glories you can chalk up, okay? And you're also helping other people. You might rescue somebody. Send them this way, right? Don't know. All right. I love you guys. I miss you guys, all right? And until my next show, I will be back. I made it past September 10th. I will be back. 7-year anniversary, by the way. Thank you, guys. You know what? I want to go through the chat here because I see all kinds of new little people. So Brian is emphasizing total surrender. Yes, that's very right. Surrender your ego. Your ego is killing you. Get rid of that thing. Quit focusing on yourself and focus on your future. Thank you for keeping composure. I love you, John. Don Baker, congratulations, Brian, on the 7-year anniversary of a miracle. I'm so grateful to have found your channel. Oh, well, thank you, Don Baker. That means a lot to me, okay? I wish I could have gotten that 7 years ago when all this happened. Excellent work, Brian. Thank you, John. Oh, Tiger's Eye. Thank you for being here. Leslie, Marcia. Some people still stick around. Rosemary. I know it gets late. Marcia. Michelle was here. Oh, thank you guys. You're all so beautiful. And, you're part of an exclusive family. You're the elite. The others are just a bunch of rich criminals. Okay. Christine, Brian, is there anything or you need? Yeah, good friend. So hang in there with me, okay, Christine? Nomadic Nation video on Planet X. Yes, Nomadic Nation is a good channel. I watch them. Mud Fossil University. Yes, he's a very wise man. I love. Come on, I know his name. Roger. Pyramids are showing plasma above the top of the pyramid. Yeah, probably they could be a focal point, and where any kind of plasma from underneath would be focused to a point, and you might see some emissions out of that. EML pulsed by plasma consciousness, animating the engines of Intergalactic Confederation motherships, classified as unknown. All right, I love you guys' comments. And you're actually using the chat and you're having a good conversation. Joe Brian, have you seen how whacked the jet stream columns have been lately? Yeah, because they're not being controlled. They're being controlled by the airflows down below. I heard on a video of Pulsar, Starlink sending to Earth. Never this communication was heard before on YouTube video of Elena getting her full name. Oh, Wayne Angel. All right, cool. Lots of good people, good little family here, even in replay. Okay, some of you guys, I go on so late that a lot of this family is in replay, and maybe one of these days I'll do a daytime show and kind of catch some of you crew off guard too. All right. I love you all. I miss you all. I got to go for right now, but I will be back. Whether I survive tonight or not, I will still be back, right? I could pass away tomorrow or the next day, and I would still be back. There's nothing going to stop me. Do you understand that? It's unstoppable. There's nothing you can change. And you are loved by me, and you're getting to know me. I know all about you. You're just getting to know me. Hey, what's up, Brad White? Hey, what's up, bud? Good to see you in here too. You guys must understand, this channel is different. You are part of the family. The moment you trust me and you believe me, something miraculous happens in your life. Don't leave until the miracle happens. Keep practicing the disciplines. You will find joy and peace. I love you. I got to go. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. You guys should rejoice. All right. Don't stress about what you see. Rejoice. You guys found it. You're guaranteed victory. Just hang on tight. Hold on to my hand, and I will take you the rest of the way. I miss you. I love you. Till my next show, I'll be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell?